Hey, I haven't done a YouTube video in a while, and I decided what better YouTube video than to talk about one of my favorite franchises from Nintendo, and that would be Pokemon. If anybody has been following the Nintendo news anytime recently, you would know that Nintendo released a pretty big announcement that the first dedicated 3DS Pokemon game is coming in October. And also, that's not just the exciting news. The exciting news is that for the first time, this game will be coming to multiple regions. I'm not sure how many regions exactly, but we know at least Japan and the United States will be getting this game in October. No specific date, but hey, we got a month, and this time things will be just a little bit more even. So that's really exciting news. I know I'm excited about that. But before I jump into my thoughts on those games, I would like to kind of share my history with Pokemon. I've been watching Pokemon on the television, the anime show, since it was released. I can't even tell you the year. I didn't do that much research, unfortunately. But since Pokemon came out, I've been watching it. I had a little lapse when it came to the end of the Johto region. Um, so I missed some, and I haven't really backtracked because I'm still following the current anime that comes on every Saturday. Um, and that's following the adventures of Black and White, and actually Black and White 2. They're kind of mixing it all together, which is pretty interesting. But besides the anime, I played the Pokemon trading card game, both the physical game and also the game that came out for. I'm trying to think. I think it's Game Boy Color. It came out for. I played that game. I can't say I was the greatest at it, but I did have some fun collecting cards that I haven't done for a while now, but who knows, maybe one day I'll get back into that. As far as the main series Pokemon, I have played, let's start from the top. I first played Blue for Game Boy, then I played Pokemon Yellow, the Special Pikachu Edition for Game Boy Color. I played Pokemon Silver for Game Boy Color, Pokemon Crystal for Game Boy Color, Pokemon Sapphire for Game Boy Advance, Pokemon Leaf Green for Game Boy Advance, Pokemon Emerald for Game Boy Advance, Pokemon Diamond for DS, Pokemon Platinum for DS, Pokemon Soul Silver for DS, Pokemon White for DS, and I'm currently playing Pokemon White version 2 for DS. Now, there's a theme there. I don't know if you caught it, what color that I really didn't play throughout all the Pokemon games. As you know, they come out with 2 versions, so you can catch them all. I did not play Red, I did not play Fire Red, I did not play Ruby, mostly because I thought that the Red games catered to the Fire-type Charmander, and I think Charmander, though he's a great Pokemon, he's like way overly exposed. He's almost as popular, in my opinion, as Pikachu because of its final evolution, which is Charizard, which everybody seems to want to get their hands on. So I didn't want to kind of follow that crowd. I said, well, I'll pick a different game. I could always get a Charmander if I wanted a Charmander, etc. But yeah, I stood away from those. I kind of try to do the same when it comes to anything I watch or play. If there's a fan favorite, I try to stick away from them because I just don't want to blend into that crowd. I know it's silly, but hey, that's my mentality. So as far as what game I anticipate getting in the new 3DS games, that would be Pokemon X. And that's mainly because Pokemon X, in my opinion, X is the one for men, for boys, for the male gene, should I say, because obviously based on the Japanese art for this game, X and Y, we're talking about like chromosomes here, you know, what make us men, what make us women. So I decided I will just stick with X. And on top of that, I do like the Pokemon that represents the X, and I'm getting its name right now because I forgot for a second, and it's called Xerneas. Xerneas looks like, obviously, like a deer, but with these crazy horns that have all these different colors, and it's just really graceful. And I guess it's supposed to represent the letter X. It has X's in its eyes, which we saw in the trailer, but also I believe more than that, it kind of does look like an X if it would look straight at you, and its horns would be obviously like this, and I guess depending on the way its feet are standing, it could kind of look like an X if you kind of do that. I don't know. um, but yeah, but that Pokemon definitely caught my eye. It's very majestic, and I like that. The other Pokemon looks really cool, and that one's Yveltal, if I'm saying it correctly. It's some kind of, probably a dark flying type, I'm guessing. But it does look like a Y. It does look pretty ghastly, pretty dark. I do like that, that they play on those two things there. And as far as the game itself, this is a long time coming for fans like myself who played the game since the first games were released here in the United States. It's just a long time coming. We've been waiting for the change to be made. I mean, we've been having these pixels, Pokemon in pixel form for the longest time. Yes, as much as they stood the same, they did change. I see this everywhere on YouTube videos or comments that the Pokemon look the same as they did in Game Boy or whatever. No, they didn't. Let's be realistic. They did not. The pixels were so horrid back then, and they just increasingly got better and better. They got better with color. They got better with detail. Of course, every third game decided to throw a little bit more animation. When we got to Pokemon White and Black, they were animated fully, so they were always in motion, which definitely brought to the realism. I think that was definitely a direction that Nintendo needed to go with the Pokemon, because having them be still images just, got boring after a while. You see your Pokemon in a pose, in a freeze frame, and that can only go so far to keep your interest, in my opinion. So when we finally got to see them in motion, Pokemon like Jigglypuff, Wigglytuff, those kind of Pokemon that that are kind of like floaty, and you got to see them in that, I just thought it really brought them to life finally. So it was a really good change. They've made a lot of changes to the battling with the games. Yes, the formula has been the same. You have to collect badges, you have to go fight the champion to be the master, all that happy jazz. But I definitely think, at least with Pokemon White 2, they've added a lot more content that keeps you coming back instead of just to catch them all. Let me talk about that for a second as well. Some people stood away, or are currently staying away from the first time we've had sequels to Pokemon, which are version 2 for White or Black, and I think that's a mistake. Especially if you played Pokemon Black or White, those versions, then it's definitely worth your time to check these out. They have made some enhancements. They have the link system, I believe it's called, and that really does give something else to the game. You unlock some events that kind of bring the original games and this game, together even better. For people who don't know the events of White or Black, you're not missing out on much because you don't know what happened. You're coming to this with a fresh, take. But for people who do know what happened, it's nice to know what happened to these gym leaders, or why is the environment this way, and what's going on with Plasma, all this information, and what's going on with, of course, N, who was a great character that they came out with to make these games, more personal. I think they kind of made them more RPG-ish than ever before with White, and then of course with White version 2 and Black version 2. So I'm hoping that they stay in that direction with the new games. As far as storyline, we obviously don't have much information now, so I really don't have anything else to go on. As far as what I would like to see, though, I don't know, just a more complex story. Give us... I would actually like, in all honesty, to have a choice of what gym leaders to fight. I saw this in the anime because the anime, as I was mentioning, was blending stuff from Pokemon White and Black and Pokemon White and Black 2. So they had a time where there was more than 8 possible gym leaders, and that's what's going on right now in the anime series. So to me, that's a positive thing. Why not let us choose what gym leaders we want to fight to gather our 8? I think that's a perfect way. I think they could have done this even, I believe, with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, instead of just, you know, saying you play through the Hoenn region and then you get to play through the Kanto region. They could have just allowed it more open and allowed you to pick or choose your 8, and then afterwards, if there's some reason to do so, you can fight the others. You know, I think something like that would be more fun to experience in Pokemon X and Pokemon Y. As far as the character goes, we already saw what looks, you know, the guy and the girl character. We didn't see much of the girl, but I would like them to allow for customization, which there's some debate on the glasses as far as the male character, and you know, an analysis video that I saw on GameXplain showed that it seemed to be a glitch that when the character was swinging, that his glasses weren't present. So it may just be, you know, a technical issue that Nintendo's working out, making sure that those accessories stay on the character. However, it still leads us to believe that there could be accessories or changes of clothing and things for each character, which would also definitely help the series. I mean, you can't go wrong with personalization. I think that could even be a tie-in to how we use play coins, because remember guys, this is the 3DS we're talking about. There's play coins, there's Street Pass, or Spot Pass. So there's a lot of possibilities to make this game very unique. I would love to see events, you know, come directly to the game via Spot Pass, instead of having to go to your local GameStop or go to a Toys R Us or things like that, or even having to use the Wi-Fi connection kind of thing to force them through. It would be nice, you start the game, you go into I don't know, a Poke Center like they did in the last one, and you see the guy standing right there. If you're connected to the internet, he said, oh, there's something waiting for you. I mean, that would be a little more fun than forcing you to do this, and you might miss these events. If you are connected to the internet, which most people are, you get the Pokemon, you get these special things, items, etc. I think that would really be cool. So that's something else I'm hoping for. Again, with the play coins, if you have a character that has so many customizations, depending on how detailed it is, you can use that in order to change your character's look. You have to use play coins. That way you're not messing with the in-game currency for your max repels and, you know, your potions, etc. You can say, okay, well, you want to customize your character, you have to really use your 3DS for what it's capable of. I love that. I love Nintendo kind of forcing you to keep your 3DS with you everywhere, and then, of course, by doing so, by keeping your 3DS everywhere, then you have the ability to Street Pass. So I really don't know what they would do as far as Street Pass. Maybe being able to battle people. You know, you have you know, like your trainer card with the Pokemon that you're currently using, their levels, their attacks, etc. And you pass somebody on the street, and you know, you can battle them, and I don't know what you would gain out of that, if they would allow for experience. Probably not, but hey, who knows? That's a very simple idea I think they can put into the game, but only time will tell. This is just my thoughts on the game and what I would like to see. So overall, my impressions of the video were very positive. I am happy to see that we're getting some more Pokemon. I know people are on the fence with that as well. because so many people are saying nothing will compare to the first generation, but I think people really got to get over that. It's just like, yeah, when you first enter a series, you're going to, you know, bond more with what you played as a kid or something like that. And I'm not here to say that the first generation is bad by any means. I do like a lot of them, but it doesn't mean that their other creations and from generation 2 to generation 4 have been bad. I've heard a recent discussion about like how dumb the Pokemon look, like Trubbish. I mean, let's compare Trubbish, which is based out of, you know, based on garbage, to Grimer. Grimer is based out of sludge. What makes Grimer so much more interesting than Trubbish? There's not much, but I still like Grimer. I still like its evolution, even though its evolution doesn't change its look all that much, whereas Trubbish's evolution, it gets really ugly and, you know, like a broken bag. I mean, I don't see the issue there. You know what I mean? We have Clink, Clank, and Klinklang. I think that was interesting. A play on Gears. You know, they have some fresh ideas, and I wish more people would just kind of stop complaining and give it a chance. Look through the roster. Look through Pokemon.com. Go to NintendoNerds.com, and, you know, see what other people are talking about, and you might change your mind. The more you know, maybe the more you're you know, you'll change your opinion. So I'm definitely all for that. Give the current generation, which I'm still going to say is generation 4 until this game is fully released, a chance. But while we're talking about Pokemon, let's also talk about the 3 starters. We have Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie. Now, obviously, off the bat, once again, we're probably getting a lot of people who are obsessed over Fennekin, which is based off of a Fennel Fox, I believe. Fennel Fox. It's cute. I liked how it looked doing its attacks, but it's not going to be my Pokemon of choice for my starter. Chespin is also adorable, a mixture between a chipmunk and some kind of grass suit it's wearing. Very, very cute. I thought that was going to be a grass normal, but we do know already that the starters are all one type, grass, fire, and water as normal. And then we have Froakie, and Froakie is the oddball of the group, and some people probably don't like that because it looks so odd. Those white parts are actually foam, if you did not know that. You can read more about that on NintendoNerds.com. They do have an article explaining, you know, what's behind Froakie. So definitely check that out. But I'm impressed with them. They look cute. They look interesting. I can't wait to know more about their evolutions. I do like what I'm hearing about the possibility of their dual types also counteracting their weaknesses. I think that would be awesome, and by that I mean the fire type would also be psychic, the water type would also be fighting, and the grass type would also be dark. They said this because of the moves that are shown in the video. They kind of determined that they probably are a dark move, a psychic move, and a fighting move. So if that works out like that, like what we're thinking, then the Pokemon balance out when they come to their second or third evolution, meaning that the fire type may be weak against the water type, but because of their second matchup being psychic and fighting, the fire type could have a chance because it could use a psychic move on the water, and it'll be super effective. Same thing goes for the grass and the fire. Grass is normally weak against fire, but if the grass is using a dark attack, well, using a dark attack against a psychic, as we know, is super effective. So this is pretty cool. I would like to see this because I know we're all over fire fighting combination. I'm way over that, and I hope not to see that again in this series. We have enough of them already. But I do like this idea. I think they're fresh, new faces, and I can't wait to see what other Pokemon we're going to see in this generation. Here is hoping for new Eevee evolutions, at least 2, since it seems like ever since the original Evolutions, they've been giving us 2 from them. So looking really hopeful. And with that, I'm going to end this video. So thanks for watching, and feel free to comment.